Don't call it a comet. You better call it a meteor.
Yep.
I don't know. Whatever.
Yep.
Whatever. All right. So we kind of, I actually, maybe I'm wrong on this, but I think we were kind of expecting some of this Meteor Lake-ish style stuff to show up in the fall with some of the desktop stuffs. Desktop
Oh,
stuff. Ugh.
I can answer this question, Brad. I know
No,
the
no, no, no.
answer.
Don't get there. Don't
Okay.
get there. I've
All
already
right.
read your
Sorry,
post,
sorry.
so I already know where the answer
Okay.
is.
I'm sorry.
But
Okay.
I'm leading up to it, Paul throughout.
Gotcha.
So we were expecting that stuff. It didn't happen. The 14th gen was just a big kind of like letting air out of the balloon sort of thing. It was just like, meh, like you could just increase the voltage a little bit. I'm paraphrasing here. And then seemingly out of band, here comes
Yep.
Intel with Meteor Lake laptop chips with NPUs, and take it away throughout.
Yeah. I mean, so when they announced this, whenever they announced this, months ago, I was like, this is not the way this happens, And I had seen people because, the nature of our audience is like someone like, well, actually, Paul, in 2013, Intel, what I'm saying is for the past several years, it's been kind of the same cadence. Like we desktop chips in the fall, typically right around IFA or a little after. And then the mobile version comes out at CES, and then you get all the laptop announcements, right? So this year they did that in reverse, I thought, because they talked about mobile. And yesterday they announced the mobile chips. And there's actually some big changes this year because there is not going to be a desktop version of Meteor Lake. And they pushed this out. They wanted to get NPUs out in volume, which in the volume market in the PC space is, of course, the mobile chipsets,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, well, and then just to kind of step back, one of the weird things that happened in recent years is with the introduction of Intel's first hybrid core, hybrid core chipset, right? 12th gen, they introduced a new P series in between U and H, right? And I thought that was kind of confusing. And at the time, I was like, a lot of the machines that would have been U series have gone to P series, which is, U series could be, I'm not going to get these numbers exactly right. 15 watt is what most people think of, but there can also be 9, 7, smaller variants or smaller wattage variants for really thin and light machines with low
Mm-hmm.
power, but maybe no fans, whatever. P series was kind of in the middle. It was like 28 watt, and then U series I think was 56 or some 50 something watts. And I was like, why did and I was guessing something about the hybrid architecture forced this on them or whatever, but turns out they were just trying to they were just trying to do what Microsoft does and have a lot of SKUs. And PC makers, customers were very confused, and PC makers came to them and said, you got to stop doing this. So for this Gen 2 and going forward, they're going back to 2 for mobile, U and H. High performance is H, and then U is like ultra mobile, right? That's the ultra book, ultra mobile, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So that's good. There is not going to be a desktop, like I said. Next year we're going back to the regular schedule. So we're not doing gen names anymore. Actually, I forgot to put that in the post. We're not calling them 14th gen or 15th gen. We're not doing that. I don't know exactly how they're going to differentiate going forward. They're going to call next year like the 2024. I don't know. I guess we'll see on that one. But what was the other big thing about the schedule change? Oh, the H series is out now.
Mm-hmm.
U series will be it's not going to be January, but early 2024. So there's really a kind of a limited supply of machines that are available right now. Also, it was kind of interesting that some PC makers announced product. Others, like HP notably, are waiting for CES to announce what they're doing. So HP was notably absent from the announcement yesterday. I thought that was kind of weird. But I know they're announcing stuff at CES, and I know the other companies are too, right? So Lenovo, maybe Asus, Acer certainly announced some stuff yesterday. Those companies and HP and everyone else will announce much more at CES. So I kind of answered some questions and I said to them,
Yeah.
to the guy I talked to, who I've known for a long time actually, and offline I'm going to talk to you about him because you may know him as well. I said, when you do things differently, it kind of perks the ears up a little bit, right? And I said, did you guys do that on purpose? And he's like, well, we wanted to get this out as quick as possible. So we knew it being different, people would be like, why is this different? And this is why they just, AI we've been talking AI, but now it's finally happening on the hardware side. And I didn't look too closely at what the couple of companies said about what would be possible with the NPUs and stuff, but you're going to see a lot more of that in January. So it's
If
coming
only there
together.
was some sort of OS that was AI focused
Uh
and
huh. Uh huh.
could take better
Like Chrome
advantage of
OS,
these
you mean? Do you mean Chrome
NPUs.
OS? Chrome OS? Is that what you mean?
No, 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 no. Hmm. If only there
Yeah.
was.
I find it weird they didn't say more about the future for Windows already, but now that the hardware is starting to happen, I guess
Yeah.
it has to happen eventually, you know?
Yep. And this is Intel saying, like, look, we want devices in market by the time this OS becomes
Mm-hmm.
available.
Right. They also were, I mean, very aggressively. I got to go look. I want to look this up in full context, but Pat Gelsinger went after NVIDIA pretty aggressively, I thought. So they have aims not just on the client side, but
Mm-hmm.
also in the data center. And I think that's where these companies are going to live or die. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah. Oh,
with that
yeah.
the volume of the cloud, we'll see. I mean, it's anyone's game now.
I mean, the PC side is really just an annuity for Intel at this point to keep trying to figure out the AI, GPU, whatever cloud compute side so that they don't get trounced by
Yeah, I
effectively ARM as a broad scale.
you'll remember this because this was a big deal at the time. Intel back when the eighth gen chips came out, just doubled the cores basically,
Mm-hmm.
right? So if you had a U series, it went from 2 to 4, and it was it's exactly the kind of improvement the Intel of the day could do very easily, and they did it without sacrificing battery life, which was really neat. And so with these new chipsets, like there is a new integrated GPU. So it's very much like what Apple does, where you kind of have everything on the same die or whatever. Intel obviously already has Iris Xe now, but this is Arc is better and like 2 times better, up to 2 times better performance, which opens up gaming in a new way on lower end machines, which I think is very exciting. But also the NPU itself is 2.5 times more efficient than the old part, which was external, which means it's appropriate for mobile computers, right, or portable computers. So you have these two things now offloading from the CPU, and you get this bizarre advantage, like double advantage of its better performance, but it's also more energy efficient, right? It was kind of the thing we were trying to do in Vista when we had the glass interface. If we could get
Mm-hmm.
GPUs into PCs that could run this thing, eventually Intel caught up with the integrated graphics. You get the double whammy of, in that case, it looks better, but it also runs better, and then it's good for the battery. Like somehow this more impressive graphical presentation is delivers better battery life too. Like it's a crazy. These types of things don't usually happen together. It's kind of nice.
You're kind of nice or something. I don't know.
Yay.
I don't know. Anyways, that was the big news.
Yeah,
And I was gone for 2 days, but it's also mid-December. There's not going to be a lot too much happening here.
this is the witching hour for Microsoft and company. Yeah, I mean, we've already gotten our last Windows update of the year. The insider stuff, I bet if it hasn't already stopped, it will very soon, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, this is when we start compiling our end of year lists, you know, because there's not going to be a lot of news, I guess. But
Well, we'll find a way to drag it out
unless Sam
somehow.
Altman does something stupid, I guess that guy.